it's time for your friends to join us, Fans Forum. If we got people that want to ask some legitimate questions, if you got a question, we got an answer. If you got a statement to make, I want you to stand up and sound off, because we do cover an awful lot on our Monday bonus podcast. John, take over.
We got a couple of just quick comments here on the live chat, and then we got even more with YouTube. But here's one from Wolfpack 1977. Bruins choked. I mean, that's what you just said
in the newspaper. Headline this morning. It's going to be a crummy off season in Boston. I think there's reasons why this thing fell apart, but who could have ever imagined when they were storming the final 3 weeks of the season, and there was a lot of pressure on them that, are you going to set the all-time win record, all-time goal-scoring record? Is Pasternak going to get 60? And the answers to every of them, check them off. Yes, 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 yes. And Olmarker's playing well. You thought, wow, there it is right there. And then they get Florida. Florida was at the bottom of the rankings of postseason teams, and they beat them. So going to be a hard off season. And then obviously the whole evaluation of, there's a lot of age on that contract. Bergeron does not want to talk about whether he's coming back or playing. It's like a year ago, Zdeno Chara, the legendary defenseman, 20-plus year career, he retired. So there's going to be some shuffling of the deck in Boston.
Yeah, a lot there. Let's go here. A couple of quick comments here from Justin C. He goes, hey, I just left a 5-star review. Love you, Hacksaw.
Well, thank you. I said, I have no pride. Take as many 5 stars as we can get, and even he will settle for 4 stars.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, this is way better than those clowns on 1090 AM.
We are good at what we are good at. We know what we're talking about. Agree or disagree, don't give a damn as long as you give us a view.
Okay, so, and then Fight On 818 says Seahawks A+ draft grade.
Well, Pete Carroll, he came out of the norm. I would have bet that he would have taken Jalen Carter at 5. I thought the Raiders should have taken Jalen Carter at 7. And he winds up going to the Eagles, the ones who are in the Super Bowl, at where they drafted at 10. Pete did a good job, though, because he got a cover corner, he got a wide receiver, he got another running back. So I they've bounced back. He's kind of quietly rebuilt the offensive line, although I still tend to think that if they could have taken that cement block of a defensive tackle right in the middle, that would have made a big, big difference.
Yeah, that would have been. I mean, let's go to the YouTube comments. We got a ton here as well. So let's scroll down the list. And here's the first one. And this was about Matt Araiza, still unsigned. Patrick Fintak, kind of a little bit of a long comment here, but he says, hey, as a Bills fan, I was very upset that the majority of fans wanted this kid hung from a tree and canceled. I wanted to give him a chance to get his side of the story out. But because of the world we live in today, it's guilty till proven innocent. And the Bills are not a tolerable organization. So it was obvious they would cut him regardless. We all make dumb mistakes when we were young. If he is proven guilty, then he should serve jail time. Also, the timing of the allegations was very suspicious.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say suspicious. It takes time to investigate all this. And I mean, it's been such a long period of time since the incident occurred on the campus at San Diego State. If you want to read a fascinating story, it just broke. It's on the LA Times website about the police meeting with the woman and detailing specifically to her and her lawyer why they did not press charges. It's great insight as to how they did this long-term investigation, all the data they gathered, including videos. And it was a reason Matt Araiza was not charged with sexual assault. Stupidity, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not sexual assault. He was not there when it happened. He had left the party 30 minutes earlier. They've got all types of video of the girl boasting that she's 18. There's a report, and one of the videos shows the girl, after, quote, having had relations with another player, coming back to the living room, sitting on the couch with her friends talking about it. Does not sound as if she had been raped.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no video of any of the players. There is video of, quote, one of the acts. I think it was the third set of circumstances when she was led back into the bedroom where the assault might have occurred. But the police said just all the information and the changing story and who was there, who was not there, what she said at different times during the course of this party just shove the whole thing into a big gray area. Now, that being said, there's no charges against these players yet, but this lawsuit, this court case, is going to go to court, and the threshold to prove in that trial is a lot less. Prove damages is a lot less than if they were charged with rape or sexual assault.
Yes.
So you take that volume of information. If you go on the LA Times website about the police video, you should be able to read the article. And in terms of Araiza, I hate to say he's being blackballed. It sure looks like he's being snubbed. I would have thought by this point somebody would have signed him, but there's still a window here to go through the rest of the offseason for him to get an opportunity. Did he do something wrong? He made a stupid decision. A lot of players make stupid decisions. And last I checked, there's a ton of these guys that have served whatever penalty sanction they had to serve and were allowed back in the NFL. If he cannot get back in the NFL, he should go to Canada. And granted, he'll have things he'll have to explain to the Toronto Argonauts or the BC Lions or whatever. But maybe he can rebuild his football reputation and his personal reputation there. I feel bad for the kid because he was a great, great player. Career should not be ended because he did something stupid. Granted, it was over the line. I don't understand the rationale of why you would put your whole bloody future in jeopardy when your whole great future is right there in front of you. So I hope the kid gets this opportunity somewhere. But obviously this case is this lawsuit, civil lawsuit, is going to trial.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad story, you know, so I'd like to see him get a second chance as well, especially since he has not been found guilty. But there's another comment here on YouTube. It's kind of a similar story, and it's the deal about Mikey Williams. And John the Professional says, Mikey, like so many kids these days, thinks gang life is like a rap video until the shoe drops.
Well, I just questioned last week on our podcast at the end of the week, who's advising this young man? I don't care about how many TikTok followers he has. I don't care that he designs fashion clothes. I don't care that he lives in a, quote, $1 million house. I want to know who is advising this young man to handle his business this way. And in the world that we live in right now, John, and I hate to pontificate, but I will, why are you screwing around with guns?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if it were self-defense and a right to defend yourself,
yeah,
your property, maybe that's different, but there seems to be no evidence there was any gunfire or any weapons pointed the other way at the basketball player, and you're coming out of your house and you're firing at a car. Thank God nobody was injured. But why are you doing this in the day and age that we, Texas and Virginia and all the other places, and who is advising this kid, and whether that's family or that's brothers or the people that counsel this young man, why you would allow this to ever happen, and why the kid would ever take it upon himself to do it. He's really in a world of trouble because Johnny's got 5 felonies right there.
Ooh, I mean, that's going to be a tough one. But you know, it just makes you understand that you look at the world around us and everyone's going through different things in their life, you know, and some people are dealing with chaos in their family and their personal life. Other people, their situation appears to be rock solid, but behind the curtain, it isn't. So, you know, everyone's dealing with stuff. It's just a shame when it acts out this way.
Well, acts out the way it did for Mikey Williams. We talked about a month ago about Ja Morant and the 5 different incidents, a couple of them with guns in Memphis, and he got himself suspended, lost a lot of money. My biggest fear, you think a gun is important? What happens if you wind up in an alley with a bullet wound in your head? How important is that decision at that point in time? So I hope the young man can work his way through it, but why this was ever allowed to begin and exist this way is just, it's terribly sad. And it kind of makes me angry because you have your whole life in front of you as a great athlete and you make this decision.
Yeah, it was nuts.
End of sermon.
Okay, end of sermon. Let's move on here. And here's a comment about Kawhi Leonard from Just Piper and says, hey, Kawhi, I love you, man. Take your money and run. You have nothing to prove to anyone. You made it to the top. Nobody stays there. Do the rehab and enjoy your retirement with your family.
His DNA as he competes. And I don't think he's ready to walk away from it. I hate to think that his career the last segment of a really great career, maybe even a Hall of Fame career, might be robbed because of these 3 different injuries to that one knee. But he's got great medical care. I get so turned off. I detest the criticism that I have heard and I have read. He let them down, or the rip job on the Clipper organization, just about the limited playing time that they gave him to try to, quote, protect him. Then he goes out and he gets hurt. Obviously, he's not the same physical specimen as he was when he first broke in with San Antonio, and now he's had 3 different major injuries. He's missed over 310 games over the course of his career, and the reality is your body breaks down. And in a game where you are so explosive in jumpers and all that, your knees are going to go, or your ankles or your foot are going to go. But he's a fine player. He's made himself into a Hall of Famer, and I just have such great respect. He's quiet. He's introverted. Obviously comes from a very tough family situation based on what just happened with his sister being sent to prison for life for a murder. He's just a hell of a person, self-made. So I hope there's more basketball ahead for him, and they have a tough decision to make as to what they're going to do with this potential knee surgery.
I mean, do you think he comes back? Is he going to be the player he used to be?
Wear and tear factor, John. I don't know that we know that. Blake Griffin was an explosive jumping jack when he came out of Oklahoma. Multiple knee injuries with him, and now he's just not even the same player. He's trying to hang on as somebody's 7th man. You wake up one day and you're just not the same body anymore. But Kawhi's a great player, and I would hope that there'd be one more kick at the can after they decide how they're going to handle this torn meniscus.
When Kawhi was playing here in San Diego State, did you get a chance to interview him or shake his hand and get to know him?
Briefly, very introverted, just not much of an interview. Not that he detested the media. He was in his own world of practice, go to class, practice, etc. So didn't get to know him very well. He's kind of like Marshall Falk. I was doing the Aztec football games back then in the 90s, and he was an introvert, and he just didn't feel comfortable around the media, and he wasn't a great spokesman. So we all just left him to his own, and we didn't make a big issue out of it. And he was so gifted. Yeah. I would think Marshall Falk, Kawhi Leonard, probably 2 greatest Aztecs of all time.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's on the Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah.
Maybe with Strasburg and Gwynn.
Could well be.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we hope